Bolts and hoes, boats and hoes. I gotta have me my boats and hoes.
Welcome everybody to podcast number 36. 36.
Help me out with that one, Bryce.
36.
Very nice.
36. 30.
Very good.
30.
Good job, Bryce.
Bolts and Hose podcast 36 is in the building today, back at Ingenious Brewery.
Kind of a dreary.
I was just about to say that, a dreary day.
Great minds think alike. Cloudy, dreary, a little bit misty out there.
Yeah, it's supposed to rain a little bit, I think.
We've got some people checking out our nut out there.
The 16, the world's largest nut, is in place. It's getting a lot of activity. We've had a lot of people coming over and taking pictures with it.
Yeah, just all through the weekend. I mean, there was one story. Probably my favorite is I was leaving for lunch one day, and a grandfather and his son got out and they walked up to us. I went over there to talk to him and introduce myself. And the father was a retired materials engineer from one of the plants in Deer Park, and his grandson was a mechanical engineering student at Laterno University, where I went to school. So they had read about it in the Chronicle, and they wanted to come over and check it out in person. So that was a cool story.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
People are going out of their way to come see our nut.
You really appreciate it when you look at it.
Oh, it is.
See it. I mean, it is something where, you just have to appreciate how big it is and how impressive it is that we manufactured that thing and stuck it in our front yard.
Yeah, it's massive. When you drive up, I mean, it's bright in your face. It's pretty cool every morning to see it. It brings a smile to my face. What are you drinking today?
It's something in Prague.
Enlightened in Prague.
Enlightened.
In Prague.
Oh, I thought you said Prague.
The city. Where's Prague?
In Prague. It's Prague.
Prague.
You're saying Prague.
Prague. It's Prague. Prague.
It's not Prague.
What is it?
It's Prague.
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 Prague. You say tomato, I say tomato.
Prague.
I'm enlightened in Vienna. So this is a nice lager.
Have you ever been to Vienna?
Never.
It's my favorite city in Europe.
No way. Really?
Vienna, yeah. It's the best. It's just a very old historical city. It was bombed in both of the wars. You'll see like old churches that are thousands of years old, and it'll have a newer construction roof on it because it was bombed during the war.
It's always fun.
So, yeah.
Fantastic.
Vienna's great.
Yeah, it's good. Never been.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go someday. So, what are we talking about today, Chris? What do we got? What do we got on the agenda?
We're going to talk about parts of the week. We got a cool little spread here.
We do. I got a lot of parts today. A lot going on in the shop. We have I'll talk about it later.
We had
got
that technical question come up too. We were going to talk about.
Yeah. So this is an interesting topic, and I would love to get people's feedback on this. We had a customer come in that we manufacture a variety of parts for. Headed parts, studs, nuts, I mean all the above. They require domestic manufacturing. So a lot of times when we're making parts, to ensure the part is stable, the chuck will hold on to one side of it, and on the other side we'll drill a small hole called a center drill, a live center, whatever you want to call it.
Similar to...
So basically the purpose of that is just to hold the part steady. There you go.
There you go.
And so it just holds it steady so you can put pressure on the material to cut the threads or...
So on a long part where you have a kind of a mismatched ratio of diameter to length, if you put a tool load on that, it'll deflect. And unless you have some support at the end as that tool is pressing against the threads and cutting that material, you'll get some deflection, you'll get some movement, and it won't come out right. So you have to put a center drill or a center live center on the end of this and put pressure on the center of this so it'll stabilize it while you're cutting it.
It's party now. So there's the reason why we do that, like Chris said, is just to ensure the part is stable. And there's a couple different ways to do this, but if a customer doesn't specify, in the eyes of us, a manufacturer, we're going to manufacture the part as we deem necessary, right? I mean, it's kind of up to us, as long as it stays true to the requirements. The B18.2.1 or whatever the part we're making. The center drill has nothing to do with that. It is acceptable.
Yeah,
agreed.
I think it's to the manufacturer's discretion. So it would be interesting if somebody has some guidance on that, if there is a requirement in a specification to show us that.
I've scoured the internet. I've talked to fastener professionals all over the country, and I don't think there's any documentation saying that you cannot use it. And people say it is acceptable unless it is required or specified on the purchase order that a center drill is not permissible, right?
Correct.
And so then the other thing that you can do is you can still use a center drill. You just have to make the part longer and then cut it off, right?
That's true too. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
So that's an acceptable practice. But if they don't say we're going to keep the center drill and move on about our day because it makes our life easier, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm very curious. If anyone's out there, please comment. Send me an email, Bryce@patriotbolt.com. I would love to hear some feedback on this, and maybe we can discuss it at a later time.
Good topic there, Bryce.
It was a fun one. I mean, there was just anytime we argue about something, I think it's fun to bring in more people so we can get more opinions, and then get down to what's real and what's not.
Yeah. We don't know everything.
We don't.
And at the same time, there's probably somebody that's watching that might find that interesting, or they've run across it before, and we can do a little crowdsourcing here and find out the answer.
Always be learning, Chris. Always be learning.
Always be learning. ABL?
ABL.
I thought it was always be selling.
That is. No, it's ABC. Always be closing.
Closing.
Sir.
That's what
always be closing. What movie is that from? It's a great movie.
I know the movie.
Alec Baldwin.
I can see the scene. It was like Steam or something. Or
no, you're thinking of Boiler Room.
Boiler Room.
But it was before that. It was I can't remember the name. It's a guy's name, and they were real estate people.
Yeah.
And they were needing leads, and then Boiler Room stole it with Vin Diesel and Ben Affleck, and that was another great movie.
Somebody watching this is screaming at the screen right now saying, "You idiot, it's this."
God bless America. It's such a good movie. Alec Baldwin was like early 80s. Great flick, man. Great flick. Had a little get-together last night.
Yeah, we had
a little reunion, if you will.
We pulled together some of our old, what do you want to call it? Classmates from Layman's. Some of the old guard there that had been, the guys that basically founded it. They were there long before me, but and then everybody that had been there for 20, 30 years. Some people retired, some people still working there actually.
Yep.
And it was really cool to bring all that group together. It's really just a class. Really, I look back on those years very fondly, and there's a lot of cool people there, a lot of mentors to me, a lot of people that taught me a lot of cool things, and I don't know, I get nostalgic in my old age.
Sure. I mean, it was a big part of your life and a small part of mine, but one thing I took away from last night is just the talented people that have been involved. And you just look around and, from Richard to Bill to, all these just Metzer. I mean, there's just some impressive characters that have ran through that company. And I learned a lot while I was there from the people that were there. So, a lot of knowledge that was once in that company.
Yeah. And one of the things I thought was kind of cool, I know we're getting too far into this, but, just the respect and just reverence that everybody had for each other, and the leadership there that, Richard is still there and everybody just holds him in the highest regard, and that's a really cool thing. And, and I thought about, I was on the drive to work today, I was thinking, if you're not surrounded by a group of people right now that you can't envision yourself getting together in 20 or 30 years and having that same level of respect and reverence, then you're probably doing something wrong.
Probably ain't worth it.
You should probably do something else.
So let's be honest. I mean, you said you were driving to work this morning thinking about that?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you weren't thinking about anything except how to keep your eyes open.
Yeah. So Alex and I stayed out and had a couple of beers and closed the place down. And then we came home and drank a couple of whiskeys. It was a rough morning.
They both came into the office today looking like they got ran over by trucks.
Yeah, Alex especially. Usually he bounces back very quickly, and I'm the guy that's struggling.
He was in rough shape.
But I was struggling, but he was. A freight train is a very good analogy there.
Is that why you're wearing your cowboy hat, to cover up your drunken hair?
You know, I thought we'd do a little something different. I mean, you know, I don't have drunk hair. I mean, or normal hair. You can't tell if it's messed up or not. But this is in honor of Big Tex, I think.
Big Tex. That's why I'm wearing my hat.
I keep this. This has been in my office for a little while, and I was headed over with a camera, and I thought, okay, well, let's do something different.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a resist all. I've had this hat for probably 20 years. It's probably a little late in the year to be wearing a white straw hat.
Is there a rule to
It's
that?
frowned upon. Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, women wearing a white Easter to Labor Day, right? Is
But
it
that's
Easter
not
to
even
Labor
a
Day?
thing anymore.
It is.
No,
yeah.
it's not.
Yeah.
No one cares.
You're not going to find a woman wearing a white dress in December or January.
Man, I wish there was someone in here wearing white. That would have been great.
No.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I'm not up to fashion
So
as much
but
as you are.
in the Western wear world, yeah, this typically sounds fun. But at the same time, you're in Texas, and generally you have, you know, warmer
Yeah.
weather because you wear a felt hat or something, right? And then that's going to keep your head warm. This is not. This is meant to keep your head cool in the summer.
Is that really what it's for?
Absolutely, 100%.
To keep your head warm?
Well,
a felt
I mean,
hat?
it's to keep the sun off your face. I mean, if you're wearing a cowboy hat, you're riding a horse, you're working on a farm, you're doing whatever.
I thought it was just to look cool.
It's not to look cool, right?
Really?
No.
Huh,
no.
how about that?
I mean,
Learn
that's
something new
part of
every
it.
day.
I mean, I know I bring that element to
You
it.
absolutely do. Every time I see you wear that hat, I'm like, God, he looks so cool. So let's get into some parts of the week. How about it?
Let's do it.
Shop is busy, man. So I want to start off first. We have a massive order out there in some 3 3/4 by 61 inch B7M collar studs. I mean, massive with a wrench flat. So think about this: 3 3/4, 8 thread pitch, 61 inches long. First off, that's a massive stud, right? And then you have to mill wrench flats on the end.
On a 61-inch part.
How do you do that? Do you know how they're doing it?
Very carefully.
Do you know how they're doing it?
I don't know how they're doing it.
They ripped the side of the mill off.
Oh, that was my suggestion.
Yeah,
Okay,
they
so they're
ripped
doing
the
that,
side of the mill off. We have a forklift with a.
You know, when I suggested that, Johnny laughed at me. So it's funny that you tell me that he's now doing that.
They're doing it. So now they have the forklift, and we have like a crane apparatus on the forklift holding the part up, and they slide it into the mill from
See,
the
I'm
side.
just not. I'm not just another pretty face, Bryce.
It was a great idea.
You know, I mean, a lot of people think that, but you know, there's some substance here.
I think about that every night, about your pretty face.
That's a little TMI.
Every single night.
Okay.
But so we're making these parts.
Moving on.
3 3/4, 61 inches. They're milling the flats right now. But here's the cool part. So it's a collar stud with a loose collar. So we took a 3 3/4 nut, rounded it off, and here she is.
So that was once a hex nut.
This was
So
once a hex
You're
nut.
going to turn that on a CNC, so you've got an interrupted cut. So imagine that thing spinning and your
Dun,
tool
dun, dun,
coming
dun,
in
dun, 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 dun,
and
dun.
having an interrupted cut. So it's load, unload, load, unload,
What's it doing?
load, unload, load, unload, load, unload. Yes,
Okay,
exactly
got it.
like that.
Got it. That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Until you get it down to where it's round, and then it's
A collar.
a collar.
It's a beautiful collar that's going on our
Very
beautiful
nice.
studs.
So this is modified.
It's B7M and 2HM. So they haven't yet.
We haven't heat treated it
No,
yet.
we haven't sent
That's
it out
why the
yet.
outside is shiny.
Exactly.
So this will turn dark once they heat treat it.
So they're almost done milling the flats, and then they're going to send it out to get heat treated.
100% hardness tested to
Absolutely.
conform with ASTM A193.
They got the test pieces rolling with it. They're going to do some tensile tests on it as well. So very, very cool parts.
How many pieces was that?
64 pieces.
64.
It's a massive order, man. It was pretty. Next on the list, which one do you want to go with? What
Let's
looks
do that
good
one.
to you? This one?
Beautiful. That is aluminum bronze.
Silicon bronze, 630.
Oh, is it silicon?
Yeah, right? 630. Aluminum bronze. I can't remember.
I think
What's
it's
630?
aluminum because it's more gold.
Okay.
Silicon bronze is a little
A
darker.
little redder, a little more red.
A little darker. Browner. Yeah.
I just grabbed this. They were actually in process. I didn't even check the quantity or anything on this, but it's a 1" 8. I know that. I just like the color of these things. It's always fun to show off. So they're running a handful of these parts right now. Haven't threaded it. Haven't cleaned them up yet. Just thought I'd grab it because it's gold-ish color.
Glengarry, Glen Ross.
Glen Ross. That's it.
Glengarry, Glen Ross.
That's
the movie.
exactly
Always be closing.
With Alec Baldwin and who is
It's
that old
got
guy?
Ed
Harris.
Ed Harris.
And then that old crotchety guy that was in Grumpy Old Men with Walter map.
Oh, right. I don't know his name.
I can't remember his name either.
He's a popular actor, though. Yeah.
But he was the one that was all grumpy in that one too. Yeah. Good movie.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, all good.
I had to check that out.
Let's do these next.
I'll have to Google something else while you're doing it. Who's the guy on Joe Rogan that always checks stuff out? Is it Jamie?
Jamie.
So I'm Jamie.
You're Jamie.
I'm checking this
You're
out
the Jamie
while you're talking.
of our podcast. The Bolts and Hose podcast. Chris is doubling as Jamie. These are some really cool parts. They're not done yet. They just actually turned these. So these are 1'8" socket head cap screws.
Alloy 630 is aluminum bronze.
Aluminum bronze. Okay, you were right. I was wrong. It's the first time ever. So check out this head, man. This is kind of crazy. So short little nubby part, 1'8" threads. I'm guessing that's what? That's about 1 inch. 1 inch long of threads, right? Don't you think? Maybe 1.25 inch long. 1 inch.
I don't know. I mean,
Less than?
it would be a 6 TPI if it was 1 inch.
Okay, so a little less.
Yeah.
A little less. Maybe it's 3/4.
I bet 3/4.
But so they're gonna do we're gonna mill a socket in there. So it's a cool part. It's a 3/4 inch socket that they're gonna put in the head of that. 150 pieces out there, B7 material. We've done these parts before. I think it's this third or fourth time we've done these parts.
So it's a headless socketed cap screw.
No, they haven't done that. They haven't done the socket yet. So they just turned it, threaded it, and now it's going to go to the mill. And they're
But it
gonna
won't have
drill
a head. It'll have an internal drive.
internal drive.
Internal hex.
So it's just an elongated socket cap screw.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's kind of neat.
I like it.
Kind of neat. Kind of funny part. This one is kind of cool. It's just a B7. This is a 3/4 10. It's almost like a guide pin. You got a little dog point with the chamfer on it, and then unthreaded portion. It's just an extra piece that we just shipped this out this week. Another cool part.
I like that.
I've never seen this one before. I don't think.
I don't think so either. I've never seen it.
Yeah. So it's just an interesting oddball piece. There's
New
that center,
customer?
Center drill. I don't know. I didn't see the order because they had already shipped it, so I don't even know who it was for, honestly. Yeah. My all-time favorite part. So we've made these parts in the past. Titanium. I think they call them a through bolt, maybe. But it is so cool, man. It's so unbelievably light. So socket cap screw.
I'm going to turn it so that yellow is shining through the center. Will it work? You got to do it from the back.
I'm not very good at the camera action. So it's a titanium. It's got a hole in it. Drill through it. There it is, baby. There it is. It's a cool part, man. So they're super light. I think they're called a through bolt. The titanium grade 5, 6'4".
So it's very light. If you were to pick this up, it would almost feel like paper. It's
nothing.
just really light. Like a cardboard sleeve, but it's titanium metal.
Someone stole our last piece. We used to take it around as a sample, and someone stole it from us.
We didn't. So we gave it away to one of our sales
We kind
reps.
of gave it away. We let him look at it, and then it went in his briefcase.
We let him choose between which samples to take, and that was not intended for him to take, and he took it anyway. So
It's all good.
we could have tackled him and taken it back.
We could have, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So
But
these were, there's a couple different sizes of those that we're making. They're getting ready to ship them out, I think, next Monday.
Yeah. Internal hex on the inside of that with milled internal hex. So really neat part.
And a through hole, which it can't be easy, right? Because titanium is super hard.
It's gummy when you machine it. It is gummy.
And so that's-
you have to maintain a very specific speed, or it'll just harden in itself, and then you kind of have to. It'll start tearing up tools and things like that. So, yeah. But if you know what you're doing, you can cut right through it. You know, you have to commit and go. You can't just like feather it in there.
No
You
pussyfooting around.
You got to go. Yeah, exactly. That's one way to put it.
Feather. Doing it. You should put a feather in your hat, in your cowboy hat.
I could
Ever
do
thought
that.
about that?
Yeah, or one of just the big feather, what do you call them? Hat belts, I think is what you call them. Hat belts.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know anything about it. You were telling me like how you fold them a certain way, and
This is kind of the old style. The newer style is kind of like a Cody Johnson, where they have a really wide flat, and then it comes and just curls up a little bit on the side. This is kind of an older style. It's got a tighter crease in the front.
I'm going to stick to the
But
Richardson
again,
ones. Well.
this is an older hat. I've had this thing a long time. It's a 20x resistance, so it's a good hat.
It's a good hat.
It's a good hat. I mean, it keeps its shape. It's a good one.
Yeah, I like it.
We're gonna get you
for
one
Christmas.
Bryce. Yes.
Cowboy hat.
I'm gonna go to Little York and get you.
I would probably never wear it.
I think you would.
I don't think I would.
You go out on the boat, you go to the lake.
I got
wear
a
the
trucker
It's
hat.
the best sun hat you can possibly wear. It's much better than just a trucker hat.
I don't know. It's just my thing. I wear trucker hats all the time.
I think if you tried this one time, you'd probably be hooked.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I've never had a good one. I always get my cowboy hats at the gas
You're
station.
right. See, that's the problem. If you go get a good Resistol or Stetson or something like that, or there's a friend of mine, a guy that cut the roads for us out in Uvalde at the ranch. He owns a place in Bandera, Texas, and they have a place downtown in Bandera called Gold Buckle Hatters, and it is a high-end hat shop.
Really?
They do all the shaping there and all that. I mean, they have like expensive hats. They have 100x Resistols and stuff, you know.
What size is your head?
You know, this is a little weird one because this hat's a little big, and I've actually taken and put foam on the inside of this to make the band a little smaller, but it'll say the size. It says, see, there's 20x, and
is it like a fitted hat, like a 7 3/8?
Oh, here it is. Yeah, it's like they come in different sizes. This one's a little bit bigger for my head, though. I think I got it when I was a little heavier, but I think it's about 7 3/4.
You got a big dome, man.
Yes, sir.
Oh, look at you.
You have a big old head.
Big old head. Well, what else we got? Anything?
That is it, man. I think that was good. That was a good spread of parts too. We have been busy in the shop. And we got a lot of variety out there. We got that big order that we're trying to get out.
I feel bad because I feel like all we've done in the last month is talk about our big gun, and we haven't been talking about parts as much.
True.
But the shop has been busy. There's a lot of parts going out. We have a massive order shipping out next week. Some 660 that we're making. We got a bunch of Alloy X running right now too. Still, we got another order on that. So shop is jam packed. Obviously holidays coming up. Will be available as always. So bring on the orders. We're expecting a pretty exciting first of the year. A lot of buzz going on. A lot of turnarounds kicking. A lot of new customers coming in. So excited for what's to come.
Yeah. You guys come by and check out Big Tex, the Incredible Hex.
He's sexy.
As a reminder, nobody climbing on it. We haven't seen that yet, but we know it's tempting, but do not climb on it. It's very dangerous. I think Bryce had a couple of fractures as a result of slipping down inside it.
I wish it was appropriate for me to take my pants down and show you the bruises on my leg right now, but they are impressive. It's like yellow, brown, blue, and purple. It's awesome.
Nobody wants to see that. We're going to take your word for that.
I don't know. If you want to see that, let me know, and maybe we can do something privately. Just
You're not going to
kidding.
get any
Nobody
reactions out of that.
is going to enjoy that. So,
but yeah,
next
come out,
week,
take your picture with it, bring the family. There's been a lot of people coming out and looking at it. I think if any of your kids or nephews or grandchildren are in the trades, welding and CNC and metal fabrication, take them out to see this thing. It is a really cool little attraction out there.
Attraction.
Yeah, it's right next to the brewery, so come out, bring the family. This is a family-friendly brewery, and they will appreciate it, I promise you. It's a cool part. It's massive, and there really was a lot of time and expense put into this thing, so we really want people to enjoy it. So
we have one more episode before Christmas, and then
should we do a Christmas episode?
I think so. Wear an ugly sweater.
Do we have an ugly sweater contest coming up in the office?
I've slacked. I didn't do it. I had the best idea for one. I blew it.
Come on. I've got mine. I mean, I just bought one. I mean, I don't have anything.
I was going to custom make one.
Really?
Yeah, but I had a great idea.
Apparently, Jamie has the win. She claims that nobody's going to beat her. So.
We shall see.
Yeah, we'll see. I consider that a challenge.
Well, now I might have to make one. I might have to sew a custom one myself this weekend.
You should.
My sewing skills. All right, peeps.
All right,
Thanks
guys.
for watching.
Thanks for joining us.
See you next week. Like, comment, share. Patriot Bolt, Patriot Fluid Transfer, Patriot Sealing, bolts and hose. Here we go.
Cheers, guys. Have a good weekend.
Boats and hose, boats and hose. I gotta have me my boats and hose.